Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, let's find out if OP is or is not the asshole. Christmas edition. Let's go. Am I overreacting? My wife wants to teach my kid to believe in Krampus, the German Christmas demon. She is from a small village in Germany, close to the Austrian border, where apparently this is normal. I, British, came home the other day to see her showing our 2-year-old a video of Krampus, who looks something like the picture I have shared. He looked a bit bewildered, and I know he could very well have night terrors. He gets scared of everything. I asked her why she felt the need to show him that, and she explained the tradition where if you're bad, Santa won't come, and Krampus will come instead and hit you or something. Now I am really ticked off. She says it's tradition and that I will be grateful in the future where I can use it as a way to get the kids to behave. I flipped out on her and told her that it was manipulation and child abuse. She said she was grateful for it as a child because it taught her to behave at an early age, and she knew deep down it was not real. I just think this is the most effed up thing I have ever heard of. Oh, look at these pictures. Ooh, that looks cool. I like that. Well, this is just different cultures, man. To you, it might seem weird, but for your wife, I mean, she grew up with this tradition, so for her, it's not weird, understandably. And yeah, it could be used, I mean, like your wife said, it could be used as a way to, like, not manipulate your kids, but, you know, to teach them to behave, just as we teach our kids to behave, so Santa will bring them presents. So it's not manipulation, it's just, you know, different cultures celebrating Christmas. Yeah, man, I mean, I wouldn't overreact about it. I mean, you can disagree with it, sure, but like to deny your wife's culture and her teaching that to her own son, it's like, yeah, you are kind of overreacting a bit, but I would definitely just like tone it down a bit, you know, let your own kid like believe in it or not, whatever, it's not gonna hurt him. As long as you teach your kid to be a good person, who really cares? Am I the asshole for not wanting to host Christmas after the family stole all the Thanksgiving leftovers? All of it? They stole all the leftovers, man? You know, one of the best things I love about Thanksgiving too is like the Thanksgiving event itself, right, with all the food, but more so the day after with the leftovers. They're so good. My husband and I hosted the family for Thanksgiving. We made 2 turkeys, a ham, 20 pounds of mashed potatoes, wow, 2 pans of dressing, sweet potato casserole, the full Thanksgiving menu. My in-laws always bring a ton of desserts, trays of cookies, pies, rolls, etc., which helps so much. We had a lovely evening, good food, good drink, good company. Later in the evening, when people were packing up to go, my husband had brought out some plastic leftover containers for this moment and said, "Help yourselves to some leftovers." We then went back into the front room to continue socializing. I was pretty tired and I put my feet up until it came time for everyone to walk out. I looked into the kitchen and saw that the food on the island and the table was put away and went to bed. The next morning I woke up starving, dreaming of turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy. I opened the fridge and stood there in shock. It was empty, except for a bag of turkey wings and a half bag of dressing. I thought there had to be some kind of mistake and went to check the fridge in the garage. Nothing there either. I sat in shock, trying to comprehend what had happened to all the food. When my husband walked into the kitchen, I asked him if there had been some miscommunication. Did he offer the leftover food to our relative's charity organization? He said that he had not, but he had observed another relative and his entire family gathering all the food that they had brought, unopened dessert that the in-laws had brought, in addition to the gallon Ziploc bags of the food that we had made. Did I mention that he had 20 pounds of mashed potatoes? That is a lot of mashed potatoes. It was a pleasure to make a meal for us to share together, and I welcome a reasonable amount of leftovers, but to literally rob your host and take everything is out of bounds in my book. Now I don't want to host Christmas because of this greedy behavior. Am I the asshole? Okay, well, your husband was there when he saw the family taking out all the leftovers, but he didn't stop them. Why didn't he stop them? You had 2 turkeys, 20 pounds of mashed potatoes, all this stuff, and he just watched the family take it all? That's crazy. I feel like he would have known to like say something and be like, hey, we made all this food. Can you guys like be not so greedy and take all of it? Like, can you at least like leave us enough for tomorrow's dinner or something? That sucks. I would understand not wanting to host again because of this, but I would definitely make a point to say like, hey, the previous year you guys did this. Can you please not take all the food this time. And if they do it again, then just forget it. Like, I'm not gonna host anymore. Okay, edit. I've come back to say that I had a day to think about it and a lot of really good advice from all of you. I agree that I should have stayed on the job a little longer to put the food away for my family's meal the next day, and then either portion the leftovers out or let them have it afterwards. I clocked out early and that was my own fault. Some said the intent was probably not malicious, that they may have taken my and my husband's disinterest in boxing the food up as a signal that we were done with it entirely. Others said that it was a compliment to our cooking, that it was so tasty that it became irresistible. A lot of you have been through similar or worse food removed from funerals and weddings, and you just made adjustments of how you handled things. I think that's what I'll do too. Follow through and put up the part I want to keep before enjoying the festivities and the way everyone has a good time, and we will get a second plate the next day. I may also host Christmas, but it would be more of a potluck situation. Thank you all for your advice, even though the ones that said you are the asshole. I like to think that I learned something. That's what I was also thinking too, like maybe your food was just so delicious that it was just irresistible. Either way, like, yeah, I agree that it probably wasn't malicious by any means, but I would definitely put in steps to prevent this next year if you decide to host again. They took everything. They took the roast beast. A very grinchy tale indeed. So the initial story before the edits, I will say you're not the asshole, but even after reading the edit, you're still not the asshole. And I would just take steps to make sure this doesn't happen for next year. Am I the asshole for telling my family that they will be getting ramen noodles for Christmas? I, 27 female, have a son, 4-year-old male. We just moved into our first apartment this past September. After saving almost 4 years and working 3 jobs, we were finally able to get our own place. However, like last year, we cannot afford to get everyone gifts. This year is especially difficult as I am not even sure how I'm going to get my son anything. And I have a list for almost 37 to 40 people, geez. In total, an immediate family. Immediate family, wow. 37 to 40, that's a big family. A list of 37 to 40 people total in immediate family that I typically have to get gifts for. In the past, I have tried suggesting doing Secret Santas, which everyone seemed to go for. However, they would want to do a separate gift exchange after, which almost defeats the purpose of doing Secret Santa. Not to mention the limit is typically set to almost $100, which I simply cannot do. I have tried to explain before that I cannot afford to keep doing this, and for everyone to just not get me anything. But it's always met with an awkward conversation of, oh well, you only have to spend $5, it's not that much. And no matter how much I said I can't, it doesn't seem to register. So this year, my family started sharing what they all want for Christmas, and I again said I can't do Christmas, so please do not include me or my son, as we will not be able to get anyone anything. It was met with the same response, so I simply said okay. Then as everyone was sending their ideas to the group chat, I sent over the following. Hi everyone, I have said a couple of times that I cannot afford to do Christmas this year. However, it seems that there has been some confusion as to what that means. So just to make everyone aware, you will be receiving ramen noodles as this is what I can give. Kindly send the flavor of your choice, otherwise the flavor will be given at random. Not even 5 minutes after I sent that message, I was removed from the group and got a bunch of messages saying that I was an asshole and should have just said nothing. I don't know what else I can do, and frankly I'm at the point where I'm too depressed to care, so am I the asshole? Well, no, you're not the asshole, man. You clearly said, I don't know how many times to your family, like, hey, I just moved into a place, I can't even afford to give my own son a Christmas present. There's like 37 to 40 of you guys, I can't afford to give anyone anything. You were nice enough to say like, hey, just exclude me, don't even get me anything. And for them to blow you off like multiple times after you made it so clear, no, you're not the asshole, man. I would just stay home with my son and just celebrate Christmas there, like the best you can. And it's not even all about presents. Like if you just baked cookies with your son, watch Christmas movies, sit around the Christmas tree. Actually, I have my Christmas tree set up over here, like off to the side. It looks pretty cool. Edit, to add, I am not making this expecting any sort of charity, nor do I want any. It's difficult enough having to admit to myself that I can't afford to do Christmas how I've been doing it, let alone to ask anyone for anything. Which I know extends to my past, but that's a story for another time. As for anyone assuming this is fake, I really wish it was. Unfortunately, this has been a recurring topic in the past few years, and has only really gotten bad in the past too, as I was searching for a place for my son and I. As far as how much I spent last year, I started purchasing gifts for my relatives back in June, since I knew the list was long. That way I wasn't spending all the money at once. A majority of it went towards my son, and I'm glad I was able to give him one final big Christmas while I still could. Also, I've noticed people making recommendations to groups that post discounts, Amazon sales, etc., and I really appreciate that. If anyone knows any more pages, please let me know, as it cannot hurt to be a part of more than one. I planned on sending a message out to my family again today, explaining how I've been feeling and hoping they can listen, but who knows. Well, if they didn't listen the previous few times, I doubt that they're going to listen this time. And if they're not going to listen this time, I would just do like I said, just celebrate it with your son at home to the best of your abilities, because yeah, it's not about the presents, man, it's just about being with family. Good luck to you, man. Am I the asshole for refusing to participate in Christmas activities with my wife and kids? My wife has always been more into holidays than me because she didn't have much of a family and they were dysfunctional. I grew up in a huge family and have already experienced as many big Christmases as I need. It wasn't a big deal, but since we have kids, 2, 5, and 12, she is obsessed with making it special. Over the years, she started a lot of new traditions that include decorating the tree and a bookshelf with the kids. She knows that I don't like to bother with any of that. I mean, I let her do it, but I don't want to be involved since the weekends are my days off, and it's just unnecessary work. The thing is, she keeps asking me if I want to help. I go with them to see the lights, which takes forever, and do gingerbread houses. I could not have been clearer. So today, when she put up the tree, I just avoided all of that by staying in the bedroom with the door closed. She says that I am the asshole for refusing to participate and that I'm acting like I have holiday-related trauma, when really it's the weekend, it's my time, and I just want to relax. I don't see what the big deal is. She also called me the asshole for telling the kids Santa is fake. Why would you do that? They didn't believe me, so I'm not sure why she's mad. I get that she's trying to give the kids what she didn't have, but it's not my fault that she had a hard childhood. It seems like something she needs to get over instead of trying to play catch up. TLDR, wife wants me to make a big deal out of Christmas when I just want a break. Am I the asshole for wanting to scale back? Dude, you sound miserable. You sound like such a buzzkill, literally a Grinch. You had it so good growing up. You had so many good times, good parties with families and whatnot, and you couldn't care less. Okay, like, I understand even if you don't like Christmas, wouldn't you want your kids to have a good Christmas? Wouldn't you want them to be happy? But instead you're like, Santa's not real. Fuck you guys. And then you'll wonder why your kids grow up to hate Christmas too. Dude, you're an asshole. You're a straight up asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to trade shifts with my coworker during Christmas because they have a small kid and I don't? Basically, I, 29 female, have the morning shift for Christmas Day, which is good for me because then I could spend the rest of the day with my family and do things. My coworker, 39 male, has the middle shift, that's basically 12 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., which sucks because you lose most of the day. He has a 4-year-old son and a wife. When he saw the schedule, he flipped out and basically flat out refused to do the shift, which means I will have to do it instead, and I refused, saying I want to spend time with my family. He then started ranting about me about not having kids and that I will understand when I have kids, etc. Basically, he said that he won't do the shift and doesn't care how the problem will be solved, which is so selfish because if he doesn't do it, then I'll have to do it and he knows it. My manager says we should resolve the issue on our own and make a decision. I told them I'm taking the morning shift, end of story. Am I the asshole for refusing to back down even though he has a small kid and I am child-free, unmarried, etc.? Edit to add that I have worked the middle shift for 3 years in a row with 0 complaints. Why do you have to pay for this guy's poor planning? He could have easily, like months in advance, went to the managers and be like, hey, I want this day off specifically. Please make it happen. He could have done that at any time. It was his poor planning that caused this, and now he's trying to shift the blame on someone else. So are you the asshole for refusing? No. Not the asshole. Not only does your coworker suck for not having the forethought to book the day off if his kids are so important to him, but also your manager sucks for making a schedule and then leaving it to you to defend your right to work as scheduled. Exactly. Your manager should stick up for you and tell that guy like, hey employee, your poor planning shouldn't fall on somebody else. I don't know, man. I wouldn't back down at all. This sucks. Yeah, it sucks for him too because he has a kid and a family and he really wants to spend time with his family. Understandable, sure, but he should have planned ahead and that's not your fault. He can figure it out on his own. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Am I the asshole for not wanting to go to a family Christmas? It's mine and my husband's first Christmas together in the US, as he and his kids are from another country. My family gets together every year and rents an Airbnb for the holidays. This year it will be 5 days in a row with about 10 to 15 other people, 6 hours away from home. My mom took the liberty of paying for my family to go, but my husband is not thrilled about it. I told my mom that my husband would be uncomfortable in that situation, and she says she already paid and he needs to suck it up. Am I the asshole if I don't show up? I think this is like completely understandable. You do the same thing every year with your family with the Airbnb. I think they can sacrifice you not being there for 1 year. Try a compromise. Go for a day and a night and later the next day. That way the mother is partly happy, husband is not totally overwhelmed, and you've done your best by everyone. If she doesn't like it, tell her a bit is better than nothing. Honestly, man, that is a perfect solution to this. I was just saying don't go entirely, but I think that's a pretty good compromise. This is literally what I was thinking. Honestly, that way at least we made an effort, but not stuck there too long. Only thing holding me back is the 6 hours both ways won't be fun, but whatever, I guess it could be worse. Yeah, I mean, that's honest. Yeah, dude, you said it way better than I could have. Don't take my advice, take Organic Mix 9422's advice. Well, that's gonna go ahead and do it for this Christmas episode of Reddit Am I the Asshole? Let me know y'all's thoughts on these stories down in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree with me, whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.